Welcome back to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into something that could, literally save your life. What to do if you ever find yourself face to face with a dangerous animal. Knowing the right move in that split second, well, it can change everything. Okay, let's start with a little pop quiz to get your survival instincts going. When I say deadly animal, what's the first thing that pops into your head? Is it a shark, maybe, with that infamous reputation? Or, I don't know, a lion, the king of the savannah? Well, the real answer, it might just shock you. Okay, take a look at this. It is absolutely startling to see how much our fears just don't match the reality. Sharks, the stuff of nightmares for so many of us, are only responsible for about 6 deaths a year, worldwide. Crocodiles are way more dangerous, at around 1,000. But the undisputed champion, and it's not even close, is the snake, a staggering 100,000 deaths every year. A lot of that is because they're so common in rural areas where it's tough to get antivenom quickly. So how do you survive these kinds of encounters? Well, here's our game plan. We're going to start with some pretty unexpected threats, then move on to confronting nature's giants. After that, we'll tackle the statistically deadliest animals, and finally, we'll wrap up with the survivor's mindset that kind of ties it all together. First up, let's dive into some encounters where survival really depends on some truly counterintuitive thinking. This isn't about being bigger or stronger, it's all about understanding a little animal psychology. So, check these out. These three tactics all come down to one single crucial idea: do not appear to be a threat. With a kangaroo, believe it or not, a short, quiet cough is seen as a sign of sickness, which makes you seem non threatening. For a gorilla, you want to be submissive. Sit down, avoid eye contact. It shows respect for their dominance. And with bees, yeah, they might be drawn to a dark cave entrance, but once you're deep inside a truly dark space, the lack of light just messes with their navigation and gives you some cover. Oh, and this one. This is a classic myth a lot of us grew up believing. It has absolutely nothing to do with the color red. Bulls are provoked by the matador's quick, frantic movements. So the key is to stay still and straight. Then use something you have, like a hat or a shirt, as a lure. Throw it far away from you. The bull will chase the moving object, and that gives you the precious few seconds you need to get away. But what happens when being small and subtle just isn't going to cut it? Now we're moving on to encounters with nature's giants, where the strategy has to shift big time. The key thing to remember here is that there's no single rule for the big guys. Each one requires a totally different strategy. With a lion, you have to intimidate. You maintain eye contact, you make yourself look bigger by raising your arms and your jacket, and you speak in a loud, confident voice. This is so unlike how prey acts, it can actually confuse the lion into leaving you alone. But for elephants, rhinos, and hippos, intimidation is useless. Your only shot is to use your environment. And just to put that rhino strategy into perspective, this is its top speed: 37 miles per hour. You cannot outrun that. No way. Their eyesight is terrible, but their charge is unbelievably fast. That's why hiding behind something solid like a tree is really your only realistic option. Okay, we're now moving into our most critical section. We're going to tackle the animals from that first chart, the ones that are statistically the most dangerous and cause the most human fatalities around the world. Okay, sharks, your main goal here is to avoid acting like prey. Panicked splashing just looks like a fish in trouble, and that can trigger an attack. You need to move slowly, deliberately. If an attack is actually happening, you have to fight back. Don't play dead. You go for their most sensitive spots: the eyes and the gills. Here is another one of those popular survival myths we absolutely have to bust. Despite what you might have seen on TV, peeing on a jellyfish sting is not the answer. Actually, the fresh water in urine can trigger any remaining stingers, making the whole situation worse. The right thing to do is to wash the area with salt water, then, if you can, carefully get any leftover tentacles off with tweezers or a stick. For crocodiles and alligators, your survival tactic completely depends on where you are. On land, be as loud as you can and run in an unpredictable zigzag pattern. They're just not built for making sharp turns. But in the water, the rules are totally reversed. Be silent. Don't splash, don't shout, just swim away as quietly as possible. And if you are grabbed, their eyes and throat are their most vulnerable spots. And here we are, with the world's statistically deadliest animal. To try and scare off a snake, stomp your feet when you walk. They don't hear you, but they feel the vibrations in the ground, and that can confuse them and make them go the other way.
Now, if you are bitten, forget everything you've seen in the movies. Do not try to cut the wound open or suck out the venom. The only real solution is to wash the bite, keep the area still and below your heart, and call for medical help immediately. Getting professional treatment is priority number one. This is a classic piece of advice, and for a very good reason. Running from the bear triggers its predatory chase instinct. You simply cannot outrun it. Instead, you have to show it that you are not a threat. You drop to the ground, curl into a ball to protect your vital organs, and cover your neck with your hands. Even if the bear starts prodding or rolling you over, stay still. Play dead until you are 100% certain it has left the area. We've covered a ton of specific tactics, right? From coughing at kangaroos to fighting back against sharks, but the single most important tool in any survival situation isn't a technique at all. It's what's going on in your own head. So, what's the one thing we've seen over and over again? It's that understanding how an animal behaves is what truly saves lives. It's not about being the strongest or the fastest. It's about knowing whether to look big or small, to be loud or quiet, aggressive or submissive. Knowledge, not panic. That is your greatest weapon.
And we'll leave you with this final thought. It's one thing to know all these facts while you're sitting here safe and sound. It's a whole other thing to remember to cough quietly when a 7-foot kangaroo is staring you down. Having the knowledge is that first critical step, but being able to stay calm enough to actually use it under that kind of extreme pressure, well, that is the real test of a survivor.